If you're an MCS fan, you probably have noticed a lot of the Y-off trips nasty being meta in Madden 25. Thanks to David T and his run in the most recent tournament, this is an offense that you're going to see quite often, and you can find this in the following playbooks: the Kansas City Chiefs, the New York Giants, in the alternate playbook known as the run and gun. Now, this offense is sweeping the community because it has the best RPO in Madden 25, and the formation itself also contains a nice play with a stock whip route to the slot receiver. And a lot of players struggle to defend this, in particular the RPO, because it cannot be defended by cover 4 zone, cover 3 zone, cover 2, or even man-to-man. And oftentimes just playing hard flats doesn't help as well. But in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys the simple adjustment that's going to make it so your opponent cannot rely on this at all, and they'll have to base out of the rest of the offense. So make sure that you guys are subscribed right here to the Zan Madden YouTube channel. Get out your notepad, because we're going to need this the rest of the year. So as I just alluded to, the RPO out of the Y-off trips nasty that is dominating this game and making so many players struggle to defend short yardage and 2-point conversion situations is the RPO read Y flat. And it's going to be able to attack really any look in the game. We'll start off with a cover 4 defense here and go through the entire shell of coverages. And what you're going to see is that this is an easy throw out to the flat. And if you can make a player miss after the catch, if you have a dynamic tight end, this is just constantly a play that a lot of players are going to struggle to defend. Some players will think to themselves, okay, well, I'm playing cover 4. Let's go ahead and play, press. We'll play some hard flat style coverage, and that'll make it so that defender is basically able to guard the screen. And that's not necessarily true either, because again, you're going to get a really good blocking effort out of this middle receiver in this trips alignment. So it's this player right here that does such a good job of making sure that this can't spring free. You'll see that he gets hands on this hard flat defender, and we're able to throw this to the outside and steal yardage. And David T kind of surprised players at the most recent MCS tournament with this particular play, because nobody really understood how to defend this, because the common things that players like to do just don't work. I just showed you the hard flat in the slot. That's what players will use oftentimes to defend any other RPO in the game, bubble screens from trips tight end or flanker screens out of other spread sets. But this little Y flat kind of shoot screen is something that a lot of players just can't really defend. And in fact, man-to-man doesn't necessarily help either. You'll see right here that it looks like you're going to be able to have 3-on-3, but a lot of times, if you have man-to-man, that changes what the R icon is for the RPO. And that's the added layer to this. When you have an RPO, you have two different types of read defenders. The first one is the R, the literal read defender. And then the P icon is basically your pass key. So a lot of times when a defender, even if they have a man-to-man coverage assignment on the player that is running the screen route, if they are that R defender, they get rolled up into the run fit and don't play their assignment. And this allows you to just throw the ball out to the flat. Now, don't get me wrong, there are other ways to go about things here. If I were to play 2-man under here, you'll oftentimes see here, the P icon is now the player that is on the tight end. So he'll probably play his key, but now the other R icon is kind of swapped, and you're really relying on a blown block by the middle receiver to get this play. In one facet, you might say, oh, that was wonderful, great, man-to-man, 2-man under, we've done our job. But then the next down, you might throw it and he ends up whiffing. And this is something that, as scary as that looks, you'll actually note if you go back and watch the MCS tournament, David T threw the route all the time when it was manned up. It just wasn't a reliant way to guard this route. Also, with the R and the P icons, it became quite confusing for a lot of his opponents to defend this on the fly. So how do we go about defending this play? Well, the first thing I'm going to say is that if you guys enjoy this content, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, because this is the type of content we do here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel. But if you guys want to get this type of content far sooner than the day it hits the YouTube channel, you guys could have known this way back at the beginning of the year, before even this play became meta, because we talked about it in our September vault, how effective it was and how to shut it down. So this tip comes to you sponsored by my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. Opened in 2020, Gridiron Gameplans is the best place to get better at competitive Madden, as well as college football 25. For $9.95 a month, you guys unlock the entire website. That's complete with our weekly updated vault content, offensive and defensive game plans at no additional charge. You don't have to buy game plans that get patched a month down the road and wonder why your money's wasted. We're going to be talking about patches in the vault, what changes, what are pro players doing as a result. In fact, we talked about the 3-4 odd meta, how to block it, how to go up against it in general, how it works so you can run it or beat it when you face it. We focus on everything about competitive Madden, not only what pro players are doing, but how to counter it. And that's what most of you guys are here for to begin with, right? So make sure you guys go check it out. $9.95 a month unlocks the entire website, $5 additional if you guys want to unlock college football content as well. Hopefully I'll see you guys over on the website in our Discord as well, where we have live sessions every single week at no additional charge. Now, I want to make sure that you guys understand how you guys can defend this. So what we're going to do is we are going to call a formation that has a slot corner. It doesn't matter who it is. There are two different ways you can go about this. Some formations, it'll be as simple as showing blitz. Other formations, it'll be as simple as walking a safety. All we're going to do is call a formation where we can put our slot corner into a hard flat. Now, we're going to then walk a safety down behind that player. So he stands kind of like right here. Now, if you're playing a cover 3 defense, I can understand that this would give concern because this safety Bates on the backside is responsible for basically guarding the other seam. So if the left receiver in this offensive formation basically were to run a post or a quick seam down the middle, that might be open. So you might disguise your defense as a 2-high shell, which would, give you the opportunity for, your defense to have somebody up top like that. But again, neither here nor there. The concept for defending the RPO involves walking down this player. You could do this out of a cover 4 in certain defenses, a cover 3 in certain defenses. You could over adjust your defense if you wanted to as well. But what this does is this makes it so that the slot defender is going to be unblocked because the wide receiver will end up going to block the safety instead of the slot corner. So in a lot of these examples that I showed you early on, if that safety wasn't there, the middle receiver would just block the slot corner. In this example, he's going to run downfield to block the safety, which exposes the hard flat to be able to jump the route and potentially get an interception. So you see right here, this is just a cover 3 sky. And in fact, right here, we have this tilted with our safety over the top. I'm going to actually flip our nickel defense here to get that 2-high alignment that I was just alluding to, where I could kind of, walk these guys down. This could be a lot of different defenses. This could be cover 4 quarters. This could be Tampa 2 altogether. This could be cover 3 sky like we have right here. We could turn this into a cover 3 hard flat, as I talked about. Again, it doesn't necessarily matter what you call, as long as you walk a player down here into this kind of area, this is going to make it so that that middle receiver does not do his job. And that's going to make it so you can make a play on this ball in the flat. Now, all of a sudden, your opponent is in a spot where, okay, all this RPO serves them because they can't just take layup throws for 10 yards to the outside, is they now have to run this as an inside zone. So if we were to go into kind of our run defense, my suggestion with this would be call something that allows you to, stop the inside zone and then go into your coaching adjustments and set your option defense to conservative. This will make certain that when you run this, your opponent cannot just pull the ball with the quarterback and scamper to the outside. The thing that can break your back from time to time is you could go ahead and go to the effort of moving your players down, kind of walking them down so that way you got the actual screen to the outside handled. But if you don't set your option defense, a lot of times what your opponent will do is they'll snap this, press A, and now they're scrambling with their quarterback. And if there's not a shed, this could be actually a big yardage gain up the middle or around the alleyway behind that screen. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that we actually play our option defense so that the quarterback is handled. So again, if you guys want to do this on the field, it's right bumper or RB, R1, and then you're going to hit A or X on PlayStation for option quarterback. That's going to make us that way. If they do decide to pull the ball with the quarterback, this player stays home to make this tackle. And now all of a sudden you're in a good spot. But again, it's very, very important that you guys make sure that you take care of the screen before you guard the inside zone. You see right here that with this type of approach, you actually are going to have pretty decent run defense. A lot of times with this front, I know that I could guard the screen to the right side with the AI adjustments and just moving the safety. And knowing that I've got that guarded to the other side, this allows me to maybe use this other safety on the backside to be able to fly down and make this inside zone gap shoot. So we have basically our setup where we can walk the safety down to make it so this hard flat is not blocked. I've got the option defense on the quarterback so he can't pull. And then I can kind of lurk right here. So that way, when they run this, I can fly through and make this tackle. Of course, the one thing you want to avoid is trying to do a hit stick because this is an RPO. You might have noticed in the last example right there when I snapped that ball, I actually went to go for the kill shot. And because it's an RPO, you'll see the red circle underneath my user disappears as I go to do this hit stick because the game considers it a basically a passing play still, so it switch sticks me. So just make a regular wrap up tackle in this regard. You see right there that that was a TFL -1, -2. So really, really good way to kind of handle this. Now, the other thing that I want to share with you real quick, that is if you don't have a defense or you're not good at moving players, or maybe you play in a league that forbids moving players around the formation, I want to show you guys a cool adjustment that you guys can utilize just from a base coverage call that will do a really solid job of guarding this. And this is to play a cover 3 match. Now, I do a lot of match content on gridirongameplans.gg, but one of the things about this formation that's really, really cool in Madden 25 this year in general is that they have improved cover 3 match to play trips rules and also 4 strong rules. One of the things about this offensive alignment that could be really, really frustrating is you notice that from an offensive perspective, you've got 4 players to the right side of the quarterback. When this happens, cover 3 match actually has a really, really cool set of rules that allows for the basically the third receiver, which would be the tight end in this regard, to basically be matched to the flat by the hook curl defender. So let's say that you don't want to move a safety down. One of the things that's actually really, really nice about this is that this player actually flies out to the flat. And you see right there that if you kind of play your cards right, a lot of times with a cover 3 match style play, you'll actually get the seam flat defender unblocked. Now, depending on what call you want to make here, that's going to be up to you. You see right there, the seam flat at the safety position isn't necessarily the best way to go about it. But if you were to maybe flip this defense that your linebacker is now basically on the trip side with a slot corner in the seam flat, this could actually make it where you don't really have to walk this guy down too much. You could kind of just get away with kind of a half effort. And again, you always have it at your disposal. You see right there that that was almost guarded without really walking anybody down. Now, of course, if it's 4th down and 2 for the ball game, you're going to do the safety walk down behind the slot. But one of the really cool things is that they're going to get pretty inconsistent efforts out of this just by running a cover 3 match here, because this guy is going to have much more of an affinity or an attraction to that quick flat throw, which can sometimes confuse that slot receiver that normally blocks the safety when we walk down. Sometimes that slot receiver will end up targeting this guy, and that will leave this guy open in the flat. So again, it just kind of depends on how you want to call your RPO. You see right there that, you know, the flow is in general better. Now, of course, if you guys want to do this as like a man align, if you were to go ahead and go into your coverage shells and say, all right, well, we're going to, with this particular defense here, I'm going to go default alignment, or maybe we go into our coaching adjustments and go man align. And then I called, you know, cover 3 match style defense against this. This is going to give you more of that 2-man under type look. You know, of course, right here, we got a seam flat to the other side. We could always make adjustments with this, put this guy into the hook curl. So that way he's in the hook curl. You could put this guy into the seam flat. So now you end up with a much better effort here on this. You basically converted your basically your cover 3 match, and I could just play this backside roll right here. I could play him into a curl flat. So now you end up with, you know, all your cover 3 zone, you know, players bumped over to make it look like it's a man-to-man. And that can also really, really pay dividends as it pertains, you know, the way that they target right here. But again, you really, if you want just a fail-safe example of how to defend, you know, this RPO, just walk a safety down behind your slot and then make sure that you have a hard flat. And, you know, if you want to, you can always man up the tight end individually. This is not a bad way to counter this either. This adjustment of the safety walk down is going to, you know, feed families. Like, you look at how good that defense was right there. It's just a great way to counter it. Again, you guys could do this at $1, nickel defenses, however you guys want to go about this. But I'm going to get up out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you guys give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below, push this video out in the YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate all the support. I hope that I taught some of you guys something, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.